Before we get into it today, Colin, I think there's only one song that is appropriate for this moment.
It's felt right since last night.
Since 12 hours ago, guys. Just live in it for a second.
Sing it, Chris. Sing Dave in.
It's so... We got one.
King of all Central PA media. The Howard Stern of the Susquehanna River Valley.
It is so nice to be here today with my buddy Colin Alvarez.
What's up?
We were at the CPMAs last night, the Central Pennsylvania Music Hall of Fame Awards.
Yes.
And we won. Well, I won.
He won.
We won.
I appreciate the we.
I gave us a we.
I've been on the podcast like 6 times. And I'm going to take a we.
Yeah, I talk about you every episode. So, yeah. Won Best Local Music Podcast for 2024 and didn't see that coming.
Well deserved, sir.
Well, thanks, man. I'm so torn on award organizations. Before we get into anything today, what a awesome event of bringing together tons of musicians.
Everybody.
I mean, every single person that was there last night was there as like a music community. Everybody wanted It didn't feel douchey. Didn't feel
Battle of the Bandsy.
No.
Yeah. No, it was really cool.
It was really cool.
The vibes were chill.
So chill.
Yeah.
That being said, and there's a lot of awesome stuff, and congratulations to everybody who won. But I want to say there are some comedic things that happened last night.
Oh boy.
That we need to talk about, and we can all talk about it outside of the fact that the awards were pretty awesome. I mean, it was a good time.
Yeah, to do the politic thing. Big thanks to the CP. What is the CPMHOF? Is the organization, right?
Yeah,
they put together a professional event. That was my first time going.
Yeah,
and I was impressed. It was a lot more professional seeming than I was expecting. I guess.
Yeah,
it was beautiful theater, good production, blindingly bright scanner lights.
Right.
It was. But no, like it was, it's a cool thing, you know, coming from what you could argue is a bigger music scene in Atlanta. There's nothing like that in Georgia, so it's cool that it is a unique thing that Central PA does here.
It's cool. There was a lot of people there.
A lot of people. When we went out in the lobby, it was anxiety inducing the amount of people.
Yeah, I had a real moment last night in the lobby when we were trying to get drinks, right? And we walked out. And I love all my friends. Let me preface
just not all in a room
that.
Together at the same time.
But it was like
it's intense.
I would be talking to one person, and the next thing you know, I'm like, I turn around, and if I made eye contact with anyone, it was like we're having a conversation, and we were having a conversation, and I'm like, I gotta get a drink,
right?
Like I don't have to. It's not like I'm itching.
I need my can of wine, man.
Yeah,
I'm jonesing.
I was like, I would like something to drink while I'm talking to all these people.
Yeah,
and it just, I told Steph, as musicians, we don't get to hang out a lot, right?
Not much.
And we definitely don't get to all hang out.
No, yeah. That's like the best we can hope for is like everybody who's off that night goes to somebody's show and you see a handful of people here and a handful of people there.
It's like going to a family reunion once a year and you love everyone in your family equally.
Yeah,
and then you're like, how do I talk to everyone tonight?
Uncle Steve didn't come, so you're not all freaked out about Uncle Steve.
Right,
yeah.
right.
That was cool.
But it was very... I see what you did there. That was fun.
I almost wish, like, I know at, like, the Grammys and the American Music Awards and stuff, they have like a mixer hour in, like, a big banquet room.
Yeah.
I don't know. The facility would be tough, but almost something like that, so you're not having to try to, like, mingle in the lobby.
Yeah,
because that's not built for that.
Yeah, it felt like we should have spaghetti dinner.
Yeah, like a big, like a big gymnasium or like a big hotel banquet room.
Yeah.
But no, for what the organization is and what they did, I was impressed with the event.
It's crazy
on the whole.
Yeah,
good production, nice place.
Crazy, and you know, like I said in the beginning, congrats to everybody who won something. Like that's a huge accomplishment. Also, congrats to everybody who was out there that put out music or made big moves last year and didn't feel that they got the recognition there. You're still recognized by the art that you created.
Absolutely.
And you guys, like everybody's art that is coming out of this area. Maybe not everybody, but most of the art that's coming out of this area. Everybody's a very blanket statement.
Yeah, somebody loves everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah,
and it's.
And I don't know about the other categories, but like we were nominated in blues rock, and like we're now Facebook friends with all like 37 bands that were in our category.
37 that's pretty accurate.
We'll talk about that when we get there. But no, like that's I think that's kind of the big takeaway. Like, congrats to Ben Brandt, who won our category.
Right.
I listened to his EP on the way up here, and it was well deserved. It was of all of us that were in the category, it was the best music put out last year.
Right.
So it was good for him. But no, like I'm now Facebook friends with.
That's the
either
thing.
through the band or personal, So
the mingle last night was awesome.
The hang and the networking.
Yeah.
It's cool. Yeah, there weren't any negative thing among the attendees. At least. Yeah.
Yeah. How about I love Jenna Clay. I love Chris Garrett,
These are the
great
hosts.
people. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Love them as people. But for the love of God, if they're writing their dialogue, stop.
The skits aren't necessary.
The skits are weird. They were corny.
Very Branson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And very Poconos.
As much as I like I said, I love them.
Yeah.
I just the delivery was weird. The overall topics of the skits.
It would have played well to civilians. If that makes sense.
Like I heard some people behind me laughing.
Yeah.
Right?
And I feel like those were people that were there with. Yes. Yeah. No, but like it's a room full of performers.
Right.
Like that stuff's not really.
I just thought it was. Do you think it's weird at all that they don't have any musicians host it,
or at least involved?
I mean,
like
well, they're kind of
past Hall of Fame inductees, something like that. Yeah, that was. Obviously, I don't know. I'm guessing most of the people that were presenting are members of the board
or
the voting or sponsors. Yeah. Because I know they had the one person from Members First.
Yeah,
that was up there.
Shout out to Members First. That's my credit union. Don't hack my freaking accounts, though.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm gonna hold my opinions to Members First because Dave still banks with them, but I'm no longer with Members First. We'll just leave it there.
All right.
Yeah, we had a negative experice.
Well. Anyway. It's the King's Bank.
It is,
so
right. Yeah, as a peasant, I was on a lower tier.
Yeah.
And I think that was the issue.
You're year one CPMA,
right.
maybe?
Yeah, maybe next year.
Start.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the invitation.
Yeah. I'm going to put out 6 albums this year, so they have to make me win next year.
There you go.
I'm doing it.
That's the
one's dropping this afternoon.
That's the ticket. All right. You heard it here first.
Exclusive.
Yeah. It sounded like a goose.
That's what I was going for.
I liked it.
Rock goose. Yeah, no, it was they both seemed like able presenters.
Yeah.
They seemed comfortable on stage, but the content was weird.
Yeah.
It was as though they were performing this for all of everyone's parents and like cousins and stuff. It was very for civilians. Like again, everyone in that room is used to being on stage for the most part.
Right.
And it was a weird way of approaching it. Which I don't know whose call that is.
Yeah, the content of coming out to open up a award show for musicians, of coming out with a skit about not knowing what day it is.
Because it's on a different day than it normally. I guess it's normally on Thursdays.
Yeah, it's normally on Thursdays, but it's like, okay, a lot of these people are here for the first time.
Right.
You nominated 200 extra groups
it went completely over my head for about the first 5 minutes, and then immediately it was cheesy.
Right.
As soon as I got it, I'm like, oh, yeah, we could probably stop with that, guys.
It's like
we're there.
We saw you in the pre-show clip, guys. Right. We know that you're there.
The veil has been lifted.
You can't lie to us.
Yeah.
And it was like childish kind of humor.
A strange note for the audience. Like it was a strange note to hit for the audience that they were performing to.
Well, bro, can we talk about the frickin' opening band?
So I couldn't
like jazz funk?
Do we know who that was? Because
incredible.
Yeah,
that's what
musically they
were
amazing.
Yeah,
weird choice for the event. I would go see those guys. Like, if anybody's watching, please let us know, because I couldn't find anywhere on the CPMA's like Facebook or anyone who the band was that opened the show. Killer jazz fusion. Very incredible. Like Chick Corea, Corey Wong, like really good stuff. But like, I think most of the people in that room were very confused because jazz fusion's not a very like middle of the road genre.
Yeah.
I love it. It's one of my favorite styles of music, but
I couldn't get enough of it.
Yeah.
I was like, is this really, this is who they have opening?
Yeah.
Like it was like, I'm a huge Krungbin fan.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was along those lines, just such a cool band. And what I loved about it the most was something that you've been teaching me is
guitar.
Yes. Yes. It's mostly just the guitars.
Right.
It's that everybody had solos.
Yeah.
And everybody's solos flowed in and out of each other's.
Yeah, they're talking to each other.
They were talking. Yeah. That's all. I was like, this is incredible.
I'm pretty sure that was all improvised. Like you usually, I'm pretty confident that the other than the heads of each song, that was all improvised. I could be wrong, but usually that
makes
would be the
no
case.
sense.
Yeah,
to me.
no, it was great. But again, like I think for the general public, that was a weird choice. I mean, it's super cool that they had the gig, and like you said, I enjoyed it, and I think a lot of the musicians enjoyed it. Maybe that's why they went with a more niche style for that, because of the audience full of musicians. But like the juxtaposition of that and then the like summer camp skits like immediately after were a little jarring. It was
summer camp skits is perfect. Yeah, that's exactly what that was. That was the counselors giving a
exactly. Yeah, you
guys want to see a show?
You're at Awana summer camp, and they're like, "Hey, we put a little thing together for you guys.
It's theater night.
We call it Thursday Night Live."
Yeah,
yeah. It was. Yeah, it was interesting. But after the weird the beginning, I thought it stabilized.
Oh my God, yeah. And let's talk about the acceptance speeches from the Hall of Fame inductees.
Oh man.
Or I should say on behalf of the groups.
On behalf of, yeah.
And those weren't 30 to 60 seconds, which I understand.
Well deserved.
Yeah, they're supposed to get their time.
It was
that first lady name drop
and the I'm so bad with names. Anita Holmes, was that the
Anita Hume?
There it is. Okay, that was inducted. I've heard her music and I didn't know who she was. The retrospective they gave was really cool.
Yes,
very impressive. Like obviously,
and her music. Did you listen to any? It's so good.
It's so good. Like every bit on the level of every all the Cavalcade of Stars stuff. What would you call that? Like I guess that's like the Motown era.
Mm-hmm.
But her sister accepted the award, and she apparently had a purse full of names because they were spilling out. It was.
She was like, I had breakfast with Ray Charles.
Yeah, it was a lot.
I got a foot massage with.
I played pickleball with Bo Diddley.
Yeah,
it was
right. Yeah.
It was taking nothing away from her sister.
No,
well deserved award and incredible career.
Yeah,
but I guess the sister toured with her was what I got. So that was the story she was telling.
Yes, yeah.
But it was mostly stories about who she did non-musical things with.
Right. She's like, I shared a bus seat with Rip Van Winkle.
Than what her sister did musically. So, but I mean, I guess it was her experience. She can't necessarily speak to what her sister went through.
Right.
But
it was an odd choice, just because I was at one point I was just like, she's gonna have a while. She's gonna have a long time after she's done speaking, picking all those names back up off the stage.
Yeah, no, they're gonna need to bring out a push broom.
Yeah,
or like
they
one
should
of
be out
like
there
a gym mop
while she's talking. Yeah,
and then and then the Jordan brothers. After that, the brother that was still.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to that dude. What a crazy amount of energy
that motherfucker
he has at his age.
Came out and threw the fuck down.
He did.
Like both he and Anita's sister are of the fuck it age.
Yes,
where they have run out of fucks to give.
Yep.
And I didn't get his first name. I'm so bad with names, but the surviving member of a four person,
the Jordan brothers.
The Jordan brothers. They were all brothers. But evidently the original recorders of Give Me Some Lovin', which that was news to me, apparently released a month or two before Spencer Davis's version that everyone kind of knows.
Which is crazy.
Wild.
Yes.
Yeah. And that dude, I mean, I was trying to do the backwards math because they said the first radio hit he had was in 1967.
Yeah.
And you figure, 16, 17 at the was it 67 or 50s? It was 57, not 67.
Yeah, it was 57.
57.
Because he toured from the 50s to the 80s.
Because their Give Me Some Lovin' was 66, he said.
Yeah.
So you figure if he was, 16 at the youngest.
Right.
So he was born early 40s. Maybe he's well into his 80s.
Yeah.
And that dude threw the fuck down.
He came out he came out while Brandon was still talking.
Yeah. No, I was wondering. I'm like, what's this guy doing? Just wandering out on stage.
If somebody said, "You'll go soon," and he's like,
"No, motherfucker, I'm going right the fuck now. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?"
It was a hilarious. Come get me.
Yeah, exactly.
What, are you gonna tackle me? Yeah. Now I'm gonna go stand at the
Start
microphone.
my fucking music. Get this asshole off the stage. And this was something Dave and I talked about last night over our greasy ass food at Red Robin. Was
brutal.
Having just watched the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction just a few months ago, one thing that they do that I think, and this is an honest criticism, this isn't us just being assholes, that the CPMAs and the CPM HOF, the greatest acronym of all time, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, whenever they did it with Ozzy this year, they always do it when they do it with Cher. Yeah. Older, the inductees are kind of almost by definition are older, maybe can't do what they used to do, so they bring out younger musicians that have some sort of affiliation, inspired by similar styles, similar just vibe and energy.
Yeah.
There's no reason that the CPMAs couldn't do that.
They could have helped that guy.
Yeah, I mean,
he had the time of his freaking life.
And we had a blast. He got a standing ovation.
Yeah.
The whole crowd, I mean, it was a song everybody knows. The whole crowd was trying to sing along with him.
Right.
But at the end of the day, they kind of just made him sing karaoke.
Yes.
And I think a lot would have been gained from maybe like a current R&B singer in the area. You know, Debo gets up and sings it with him. Or, you know, somebody that speaks on the Jordan Brothers as being an influence. You know, it's just a celebration of them, I guess. I think that would have gone a long way, and I feel like that wouldn't take that much extra work.
I agree.
On the part of the show, and it would do a lot.
And it would have got more musicians involved.
Yeah, it would do a lot for the performers, I think, to not be out there on their own. And but still, that dude
ripped it.
He ate that stage.
He did.
Yeah, it was amazing.
His so at his age, I'd imagine holding the microphone anywhere even remotely close to your mouth is probably not the easiest task.
Right, you count it as a win if you're in the general area.
Yeah, because exactly. Because I mean, dude, my shoulders get tired.
Yeah,
and I'm half his age.
Yeah,
so I'm like, maybe I'm going to give him 100% pass on that. Everybody else though, Earl David Reed, with the microphone in his like his pants pocket.
Yeah. It was tucked in a sock, I think is what I told Steph at one point.
Yeah. I'm like, he has it underneath the podium.
Yeah.
Like it's just
like he's mad at it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like it's on timeout.
Yeah, you go down there for now, microphone. It was
I mean, just everybody. There was so many people that are musicians that got up on stage.
Or just performers of some sort.
You could tell. They're I'd like to thank
I just want to thank everybody in the crowd.
I'm like, you're off camera.
Is this thing on?
Yeah.
Like, no, the microphone that you're not in front of is on.
How are you the sound tech to that? And what do you do?
That poor sound guy. I hope he got paid a lot.
Oh.
Because he was riding that fader all night.
Just all night.
All night.
And just metered out. Just
the poor guy. Like, just, oh yeah. He's like, yeah, please point the microphone right at the wedge monitor in front of you.
Yes.
That'll make it super easy for me to not make it feedback.
I made a joke. This is meant to be funny, and it's not a judgment of the guy. I made a joke to Steph at one point because he kept getting feedback.
Yeah.
And I said, that's not feedback. He just keeps on getting the microphone too close to his hearing aid. She thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
I hope you do too. I don't mean it. It's just for comedic value.
Yeah. Frank, turn down your hearing aid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was super fun.
Yeah.
How about I want to say a big fuck you to whoever programmed the light controller.
Holy shit. Hopefully it wasn't also the sound guy, because I really like the sound guy.
Yes.
But if it was the same guy, he is back to zero.
You're back to zero with us. Yeah.
I don't know about where everyone else was sitting, anyone that's watching right now, but the section that the Gateses and the Alvarez were in, row L through O. Yeah, we were getting
shout out to
bukkake with lights, like just I think that's like the fifth time I've said bukkake on your show.
I don't even remember the other four.
Yeah, well, remember blues cocky.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
yes,
that's t-shirts available soon,
dude. The 4 rows that we were contained in.
Yeah.
Shout out to my blind family.
Yeah.
The scanners just put their glory upon us.
It was just,
and it was timed, so every time somebody won an award,
we got it 5 to 6 times.
5 to 6 times.
Yeah.
If you took forever to get to the stage, just know
when Anita
that
Hume's sister went up.
Yes,
we were catching it for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like glory hole. Like it was. We were just getting annihilated.
It's contributing to my corneal issues.
Chelsea and I both immediately were like, well, we're going to have migraines tomorrow. Yes. And guess what we woke up with?
Yeah. I mean, great job. The lights looked awesome.
Yeah,
but you got to test it out to make sure you're not
just blasting somebody in the face.
Blasting 150 to 200 people.
And we couldn't have been the only place in the crowd.
No.
Because all those scanners were hitting. Yeah, it was hitting everybody.
Yeah, everybody was getting it.
Yeah, you could see literally everyone within 20 feet of us flinching every 15 seconds.
It hurt. We were behind a row of man buns.
We were. I was really sad I didn't have my hair up.
I was sad I didn't have hair.
Yeah, they sat down and I was like, shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know we were in the man bun section. I wore my hair down like an asshole.
It was glorious. I looked at it and I was like,
on point.
Yeah. Everybody was dressed.
Yeah.
I was all dressed up like a Baptist preacher.
I had a crystal necklace on like a faith healer. Like
That's awesome.
Me and the lady that bedazzled the guitar.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. She's local.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, duh. She's local. Yeah, everybody. Oh,
everybody there.
Yeah. That was a very bejeweled guitar.
It was incredible.
It was. You can't play that outside in summer.
Oh my God.
You would kill the first row
unless you're the lighting designer from last night.
That's right. Yeah. Then you just use that on everybody.
You just call it my guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the entire festivities last night.
Yeah.
I don't think that there was any moment that was bad.
I do.
Do you?
The fake awards pre-roll, pre-tape.
Oh my God.
I don't. I apologize to that guy. I'm sure he's a perfectly nice person, but
making fun of awards at an award show.
So
why didn't that land?
I still haven't processed what happened. Like, because I know Chelsea and I talked about it, and we were both waiting for it to be like a Dundies style.
Yes.
Where there's going to be some big payoff.
Yes.
And I assume everybody that's watching this was there or watching the live stream, so we don't need to really explain it, but it was a pre-recorded skit of a fake company, which I found out later. I assumed it was a sponsor, which made it less weird in my head that it was just a sponsor using their airtime.
Yeah.
But so it wasn't that. I don't then understand the purpose of it, because it was right after the 2 Hall of Fame inductees, so pretty heavy. You know, I mean, both of them talking about like passed away people and
solid.
Like heavy 20 minutes, and that wasn't really the light comic relief that
was
I think
right
they
after that guy got a standing O.
And with like tears in his eyes talked about how much he missed his brothers and being on stage again. It was the first time since they passed away he'd been on stage, and how much it made him miss performing with them and how much they filled out behind him. And like all of us were pretty like hit.
Everybody was moved.
It was and then it was like this weird fucking video with like a little racist whipped cream topping at the end.
Oh my God. Like, dude. Yeah. So I'm going to describe it.
I'm going to hope it was an inside joke that they just didn't realize wouldn't land when no one's in on the inside joke, but goddamn. Yeah. Describe it. King Dave.
So the commercial, they had this part where this lady, they're like, the award for the loudest person in the office goes to
our office manager, Jan.
Right? And they're like, it showed a black lady.
Yeah, they panned to an African-American woman.
Going, oh, you know I'm the loudest one in here.
Yeah, and there was an audible groan from the audience.
Yeah.
Like, mind you, that's why I thought it was like
did you just do a black ladies are loud joke?
Yeah, I thought it was like a Michael Scott thing of like, look how out of touch this guy is. But like, I still hope that was the intention. But it did not land.
No.
Like, it didn't land at all. And then the poor guy is like, and now I'm going to present 8 awards.
Yes. Well, after everybody cheered for Glenn Hamilton.
Yeah. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And the whole purpose of his thing was to trash Glenn Hamilton.
Right.
Yeah. And he came out. I'll tell you what happened. His jokes did not land.
No.
At all. He bombed with that video. Then he came out. And instead of acknowledging the bomb or any of that, he came out and was like, oh, God, you guys really like Glenn Hamilton. Well, Just bear with me for a couple 10 minutes and then
how
he'll
do
be
you
up here.
How do you not watch the live reaction of that and come out and be like, man, I really thought that was going to land?
Yes.
Or on playback, that didn't age well. Or that aged like milk.
I'm sorry.
I was on PCP when I wrote and filmed this.
Yeah,
so like anything, acknowledge it. Like acknowledge the bomb.
Yeah.
And that's not what happened. Like you said, it was that weird, like passive aggressive. And it's like, no, dude, it's not that everyone loves Glenn Hamilton's. Everybody's really glad to get out of this super uncomfortable situation that we've all been forced into.
The best hair goes to the bald guy at the office.
Yeah, it was all...
I heard audible groans as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that last joke with the black girl. And I just... God damn. Like...
So we stuck around for a little while. And I wish... I would have had a chance to talk to more people last night.
Same.
I had all intentions of doing that. And then once I had that experience in the lobby where it was like every 2 feet, I was like, I was talking to everybody, which was awesome. But at the same time, after like 30 minutes and I'm like, I've moved 10 feet.
It's not a conducive environment for that.
It just didn't feel
really, like that's why I was saying like any place.
I was like, I want to talk to all of you for like 20 minutes.
Yeah. I want to be at like a table and like we can, I can walk around and see everybody. I really feel like the like hotel ballroom.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's even a venue in the area that could do something like that. Because obviously you don't want everybody to then have to leave and drive to a theater.
Hershey Theater definitely had a little bit of a better layout.
Okay, maybe that's because that lobby was clearly meant for just walking through.
Yeah.
I mean, we all could have hung out in the hospital gift shop that was in the lobby.
What was up with that?
If you ever want to get slippers while seeing Phantom of the Opera.
What says Amish country? Like a gift shop in the theater.
Full of doilies.
Just full of doilies and license plates.
Handmade baby dolls.
Yeah. It's like, well, I was planning on getting a CPMA, but I'm coming home with a doormat.
And some knit slippers.
Yes. That was
that was a new one for me. We walked in and I turned to Chelsea. I'm like, what? Why the fuck is there literally a hospital gift shop?
Yeah.
And again, I'm assuming that's where like because pretty big artists come through there. I saw.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like I assume that's probably where they set up their merch.
Yeah.
Like maybe they move out some of the Amish stuff and that becomes like the merch shop. But that's possible. It was cool venue, but not set up for mingling. I think we were kind of feeling the same thing. And that was thankfully my award was pretty early. It was right after the racist sketch, so that was cool. Good vibes for that.
So we went out. We went outside and we went to Red Robin.
Yeah,
and we got some horrible food.
Terrible food.
You should see. The food was almost as terrible as Colin's Park Job.
Dave got a picture. I'm guessing he's going to throw it on an overlay
music theater, here. You'll see it right about.
In fairness, it was hurricane raining, and it was pretty intense. I don't have an excuse. There were no other cars in that spot, and I thought I'd be a cool guy and take like the first spot. And clearly, I need other cars to reference.
Yeah,
there also may or may not have been some imbibery previously.
There might have been some imbibing. The food at Red Robin. And we, by the way, when we got there, we told them we wanted king seating.
Yeah, we were like, this guy has a trophy.
I mean, I don't know
if you guys heard.
I was just carrying this around.
It was in his pocket.
And I was like, listen, I am the best podcaster in central Pennsylvania. I would like the king seat.
I don't know how to tell you this, Lancaster Red Robin, but Dave Gates is here.
Yeah, and they weren't prepared.
And in fairness, me, Steph, and Chelsea were carrying palm fronds behind you, so they should have seen it.
Well, you had to keep the flies away from our food.
Right.
Because they were all over our food last night.
So greasy. Nothing to do with the CPMAs. This is completely independent.
We're going to move on to... We listened to some lady tell her kid,
oh my God,
very loudly,
abusively yelling at her child for the first half hour. That was pretty cool.
She kept on yelling. Steph's like, what was she yelling? I was
Quit
like,
eating paper towels. Did you hear that one?
Eating paper towels. She said, you're going to choke to death. She must have screamed that a couple times. But anyway.
We were the only ones, her and us were the only ones in the restaurant. So that was pretty cool. And they sat us right next to her.
Yes.
So that was great.
Yeah, that was incredible.
It was a good hang. We got to hang out. It was fun.
Yeah.
But
the food took years.
It felt like for being one there.
Oh, I meant off of our lives.
Oh, that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. We will not be singing "Give Me Some Lovin'" at 85.
No. Not eating that shit.
No. That I'm pretty confident old Frank Jordan has not eaten that Red Robin food.
I had a salad, and because I'm that guy, I had a salad and sweet potato fries.
Yep, that's on brand.
Yeah. Did you notice the color difference between my sweet potato fries and Chelsea's?
Yes. Yeah.
Mine were fresh.
I also did not get bottomless fries. She asked me if I wanted more, and they were so bad. I'm like, no.
That's
good.
right.
I'm probably.
Steph even had fries on her plate still.
Because with the bottomless fries, they bring you like 6 fries.
Yeah.
Normally, I'll be like, yeah, bring me another basket. Let's get some campfire dip-ins and let's do this. But yeah, it was pretty bad.
Well, the chicken was either overcooked or undercooked, and I can't tell which because it was chewy but hard and like really hard to chew. Like it was like trying to eat like a rubber peanut.
Okay.
If that's
probably overcooked. Which of the two, that's the one you want.
Yeah. I didn't like die this morning.
Yeah.
But last night it was.
You had some rumblings.
It's real problems.
Yeah.
I was. But I think that might have been the guacamole.
Yeah.
Like who gets guac at Red
you
Robin?
Went pretty bold.
Anyway,
that was a bold. You're like the king's here.
Yeah.
Bring me guac, people.
They're like, we don't have it on menu. I'm like, I don't care.
The freshest avocados.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they gave us like a fucking a horse
trough.
pail.
You had a trough of salsa and guacamole.
She goes, well, you were supposed to get the appetizer size, but
we
here
either bring it to you or we throw it away because it's spoiled.
That's what I figured. Yeah. I wish we would have stuck around, but at the same time, I don't know.
Wednesday night's tough.
Wednesday nights are tough.
I get why they do a weeknight.
Yeah.
It's probably hard to get a theater on a weekend, and nobody will be there if it's a weekend because everybody's working.
Thursdays are even. I've missed it. 2 years.
There's a lot of Thursday gigs.
Thursday.
Yeah. Wednesday nights are mostly like what Matt did. It's an open mic. It's not a big deal just to cancel it for a week.
Right.
But yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad we stayed for a little while. Like you said, I would have liked to probably seen the other inductees.
Oh, did you hear? The one he's the songwriter that wrote "I Can't Make You Love Me."
Yeah, I saw somebody post.
Did you see the clip of that?
No, but I heard it was emotional.
Bro, if I'd have been there,
you'd been sobbing.
Yeah, I'd have been sobbing.
Yeah,
1,000,000,000%.
That's a
beautiful.
That song is incredible. I didn't realize the guy that wrote that's from the area.
Oh yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, he was inducted, and dude, the video of it.
That song hits too, man. Like that. Yeah, that's what Bonnie Raitt, right? That dude.
Yeah, we missed that.
Yeah,
son
that
of a
sucks.
bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, we stuck around for my category and one more.
Yeah.
And the best funk band.
Right.
And then we decided to dip. So yeah.
It's good times though.
But yeah, it was a lot of interesting shit.
Yeah. Yeah. So now that I won the award.
Right. Where do you go now?
They're nowhere. This is actually my last podcast.
Wow.
I'm retiring.
Good job, everybody.
Yeah, we did it. There's nowhere to go now.
Yeah. It's just your behind the music downward spiral is really all that's left.
Yeah.
Not necessarily what are you going to do to win again? Chase that dragon, Dave.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like musically, what's the year hold for Dave Gates? We'll call it like a year in review.
I think for next year or for this year.
Yeah. In the next year. My
main goal is I have a big show coming up May 16th at West Shore Theater
with Rascal Revival.
With Rascal Revival. And I'm opening for those dudes, and I am going to be doing all original music, and it's like an hour. And right now I'm trying to work on writing music because I don't want to do all of my old songs. So I want to have like a new set list, and I'm kind of going to debut all of those new songs there.
Yeah.
Colin and I are working on those together. Because the flair that he can add with his lead guitar, the backup vocals, the harmonies that we can do, it all just makes the writing process more fun and more easy to create music.
Yeah.
Whenever it's two minds
Music's
working together.
Team sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always do better writing with somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if it's just you and I have had more than one writing session, we're just staring at each other like,
Yeah.
But it's writing by yourself. I've had many days where I would sit all day by myself writing and thinking I had a masterpiece, and then I'd go back, the next day and like look at what I wrote down or listen to the voice memo, and it's like, oh, that's fucking garbage. I thought that was a lot better last night. Like, it's a lot easier when you're bouncing it off of somebody.
Aerosmith, Steven Tyler, right? I think he's and I'm sure there's a million people that have said it, but Steven Tyler said that if you don't wake up in the morning singing the hook, if you don't sing it in the shower, don't write it.
Oh yeah, no, totally. And
I was like, oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
If it's not catchy to you, it's not going to be catchy to anybody else.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
Yep. And that's why it's so important to record your writing sessions and
I have
your
so many
practice
voice
sessions.
memos. Yeah.
Because you listen back sometimes, you're like, or you could be like, I struck gold.
Right.
And then the next day you're like,
shit.
Who is that?
How much weed did I smoke?
Yeah. Was that me?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And also, like, with writing, and it's taken me a lot of writing and a lot of bad songs to get past the trying to be clever. And, like, if something naturally falls underhand or falls, like, from your voice, there's probably a reason that's just what's coming out.
Yep.
And to just go with that rather than, like, no, but I really want to be clever here, and there's so many other songs that do this. It's like, there's a reason it's coming out that way.
Right.
Like, it doesn't need to be clever. And usually those songs that you try to be clever on, you never end up playing again. Yeah. Because they don't really age that well.
No, not at all. Yeah. I think my approach to music, since I'm learning how to play guitar better, my approach to writing music has changed dramatically.
Yeah.
Because it used to be, what do I want to say?
Right.
And it's turned into, what do I want to feel?
Right. And how do you want to say it?
Yes.
Which is a bigger, that's writing music. That's what it's.
Yeah, but I mean, and it's weird to like come to that. It feels like a different. It's not like I have a little bit more knowledge than I had before, but what I have is a different mindset or a different approach towards it.
Well, and confidence too makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The confidence provided, by this beautiful, you guys have been gazing at it the whole time right here. I figured I'd have it just front and center.
I really hope that's a fixture of every episode from here on out.
This is how my podcast studio is going to look for a while. And one of my bigger goals with the podcast this year, I don't really enjoy doing podcasts through Zoom.
That's fair. It's hard. With the original Tales from the Gig, we did every episode because the only people I knew were in Georgia. So everybody, now then it was Skype. Zoom hadn't, believe it or not, pre-COVID, Zoom wasn't a thing, which is hard to even remember that. But yeah, and that was talking to friends. That was people I know really well. And even then, it's tough. Like if there's any delay, you get that weird, like, you're both trying not to speak over each other. So there ends up being like a long distance phone call in the 90s.
Yes. Yep.
Like you need the nonverbal cues. You need to be able to read somebody's body language, and you can see them obviously on Zoom, but it's not the same. Like you can feel the energy in the room of like, we should probably shift topics. And on Zoom or any video call, you don't get that. So you might be plotting through something that the dude's like, or lady, is very uncomfortable with. Like racist jokes at an award ceremony.
Right.
And like you don't read that because you're on camera. And no, in person, it's hard doing it.
Yeah.
Obviously sometimes you just can't help it. Like,
I like because I'm an audio guy.
Yeah.
And the audio that I get from people's like whatever, Leo's was perfect because he did it from like his studio.
Right. Yeah. If you can get them in a podcast studio on the other end, it's like you're in a room together, but usually it's like, best case laptop audio, and hopefully they put headphones on so you're not getting like the weird feedback. But yeah, it's suboptimal. Because
we're gonna get I'm gonna start. So one of my things for 2025 is I'm gonna start having people in studio again. Yeah, like soon.
Right.
So I'll do them remote if I have to, if it's somebody that's out of the state or out of the country.
Right.
But the local people, I'm gonna just have them come here and let's kick it. Let's do this. You know. Do you have any more hot takes that you want to get out in the hot takes episode?
Are we specifically about the CPMAs, or are we just going? Are we just going free reign right now?
Yeah, let's go rogue for the last 10, 15 minutes.
All right. Okay. I have a. It's not a hot take. Good. I think what is a fair criticism of the award process last night.
I'm excited.
Again, Ben Brandt won my category, blues rock.
Shout out to Ben.
I hadn't heard his original music until this morning.
It's really good.
I listened to it. It's really good, and it is blues rock. Like they put him in the right genre. I feel like my category had 20, 30 bands in it. It was a lot. It was 10 or 12.
Yeah,
it was a lot.
There was a lot.
I don't know if there was another category that had as many, but the screen was full. I feel like that was where they stopped.
They just didn't have enough room.
And blues rock is a hard genre because it's a hybrid genre. Yeah. Like, you know what blues is, you know what country is, but I feel like there was probably not enough sub-country genres, and some of those got lumped into the blues rock category.
That would make sense.
I made an Apple Music playlist of everybody that was in our group that had stuff that was out, and there was a lot of what I would call outlaw country.
I don't know. Six Whiskey Revival.
Yeah.
Shout out to those guys because they're freaking incredible.
They slay. No, yeah, and I know some of the covers they do.
Blues rock.
Some of the covers that they do, I think, are probably in the blues rock realm.
Sure.
I knew they do like some Stevie Ray Vaughan and stuff, but the stuff I've heard from them, I think, is in that outlaw country, and they could correct me. Like I could be wrong here.
Yeah, same.
Maybe they identify as blues rock,
right?
But I definitely. Their vibe feels like it, but there, as far as I could tell, was only one country band category, and country is such a wide genre.
It's huge.
That like if blues is going to get 2, country should get, and there's a lot of country around here.
Yeah.
Like it's a very big genre. I feel like it should get at least 2 or 3. There should be an outlaw country, a classic country, and a modern or a pop country.
I'm sure it will.
Yeah, and it's evolving. Like you said when you had Brandon on, it's a young thing.
Oh, it's very young.
So it's evolving. That would be my only criticism as somebody that was in it. With some of those guys, it felt like comparing apples to Frisbees.
Right.
Like it was just such a.
And I would say they have gotten better at that through the years because they've expanded some of the categories, and it seems like they learn each year.
Sure.
So,
of like where was a weak spot. I'm sure they probably have like an after action report after the event of like, hey, where category wise, I'm sure there's somebody in charge of like that,
right?
Of like what genres did we mess up? And if you guys are listening, for what it's worth, I would say blues rock is worth looking at.
Yeah.
Because whoever nominated us, I assume nominated us in blues rock. I don't know who it was. I asked everybody I know, but I don't even know that I would lump us in that anymore, especially last year. I still think we were a party band last year.
Yeah,
it was different members. We were doing a lot of like top 40 stuff. Now this year, hard blues rock. But I still think of it as like American rock.
Right.
Like having been a traditional blues player, it almost feels disingenuous to put blues in the name just because it has like blues riffs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know Ben Brandt has played with Bonamassa.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other people.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Like he's definitely... I think they categorized him perfectly.
Of the original music,
Union.
including my own, he was probably the closest to the genre name.
Yeah,
I think of everybody that was him and Dustin Douglas.
Yeah, and
the Electric Gentleman, the guys that won last year.
Yep.
They're pretty firm. I think they have some stuff that I think their softer stuff probably toes that line on country, but so does Bonamassa.
Sure, yeah.
Like it's all pretty incestuous. Like it's pretty hard to pin down. But listening to Ben's EP, and this was probably intentional, the 3 songs were very direct and very blues rock.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was like I was listening to the Black Crowes in the early 90s. It was like I was listening to Bonamassa in the late 90s.
Yep.
Like, everything hit it. The way it was produced, the songwriting, the instrumentation. A mark for me for, like, good blues rock is always, like, heavy riff in the verse, and you bring in, like, a strummy acoustic guitar in the chorus.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, the first song on his EP did that. I'm like, fuck. Like,
yes,
there it is.
Yes.
Like, Running Towards the Daylight is the Bonamassa tune that I always think of as, like, the ultimate blues rock. And it, like, his first, and I didn't get the song titles. I should have written them down. Hit those notes where it was just like, like, that's, so I hope to get to meet and play with Ben at some point.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, Tate Lehman, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing his last name right.
I think so.
I haven't said it out loud before. Was in the category. He's young. I think he's in his early 20s. I think technically, hey Tate, if you're watching, I think technically probably the best guitar player in the category.
Yeah.
He's got some videos. He actually absolutely slays. So he's probably got big stuff coming. Like I'm excited to see him. I'm hoping to get to play with him. He's also another chubby dude with a beard, which I can respect.
Yeah.
We've got too many of the skinny, good-looking guys in our genre. We save that for country and pop.
Jeremiah Tall.
Leave blues to the fat guys.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
But no, yeah, Tate. I think he plays one of the Twin Dicks guitars. The guys that won Instrument Makers. He's got a beautiful custom telly I've seen videos of on YouTube or on Facebook.
Shout out Twin Dicks.
Yeah, right.
Incredible guitars.
Yeah, I want to talk to them.
Yeah,
I would love to get a local guitar built.
Oh, dude.
So either of the Dicks, if you guys are listening, give me a message on the FaceTubes.
All right.
I've been wanting a custom telly.
Either Dick.
Either
Dicks.
Either Dick will do.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my only thing, and it's not a dig. It's not. I don't even know. I can't. That's not really a hot take.
No,
like it's just. I felt like our genre was a little like rudderless. In that, were I a judge or whatever you call them, the board or the voting committee, I don't know how I would sit down and listen to the 10 groups that were in there and make any sort of side by side comparison. It falls kind of into that Battle of the Bands thing where it's like if you have 4 or 5 disparate groups, what do you compare? Like,
right.
Other than just like the facts of it. How many songs did they put out last year? How many shows did they play? How many followers did they gain? At that point, it's just metrics.
Yeah, it seems like they're getting better at weighting things.
Yeah.
And because a lot of people that I saw win this year, just in my mind, off of what I see from like watching, keeping an eye on the scene kind of online, right?
Yeah.
Just
well,
from
and
what
as
I've
the
seen,
king of Central PA media.
And it's the king, the absolute.
Hold the trophy. Yeah.
As the best podcast in Central Pennsylvania. In case you didn't
that's
see
a fact,
that
people.
award.
That's not a Dave Gates opinion. That is a fact. This award right here.
Yeah, no. As just somebody who consumes the scene, there weren't any people that I saw win for the most part where I was like, and I can't say that for most years.
Sure. Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
It seems like they're starting to
hopefully they got their ear to the ground a little better.
That's what it's starting to seem like to me. And it's like Rob's Rock School. Shout out to Rob. He's running a great instructional program.
Yeah.
It's incredible that they got all of those people together last night.
Yeah.
And I had this moment of realization that, like, I'm not an awards type of person.
Right.
Like, that's why we're making such a joke out of this trophy today or whatever this thing is. And
it's nice recognition, but it's not something you have to chase.
It's not. This isn't why I do this.
Yeah, the whole point is it is recognition. It's not a goal.
It is cool. Yes,
it's very, very different.
Yeah, but it seems like they keep moving and they keep doing things that are the right things. They're going to start gaining the respect of the musicians who right now maybe are have negative feelings.
Yeah.
Or feel like they're not being included, but they don't understand that the game isn't being the best musician in a lot of cases.
No, it's being part of the scene.
It's being part of the scene, and it's being a lot of the people that I know that are some of the best players in our area have the worst social media.
Oh, yeah.
And are never nominated for anything.
Well, and I'll say, like, collaborate. Like that's you and I have been collaborating now for the last 8 months, and I think it's moved my career forward locally.
I agree. Yeah,
the whole rising tide thing, it's going out to these open mics is great.
Right.
Just getting to bullshit with people.
The open mic community it's
awesome,
nice
man.
Right now.
Yeah, you find your people. You find a great group of guys. You find people that can cover gigs for you when you're sick.
Right.
You find people if you're recording a song, you're like, I'd like to bring some different people in on this. Like, you have people for that.
Right.
And meeting them in person, not just how often do you and I both have this? Every time we go out somewhere, it's like, oh God, this is a person I've been Facebook friends with. We've had conversations and I've never met this person.
Yes. Shout out to Rachel Thomas from Ragged Grace.
Right. And Justin, when I met him at Matt's open mic, or I guess it was technically ours.
That's right.
That's right. But the same thing, like these people I've had conversation. RJ and I had 5 or 6 conversations on Messenger.
Yeah.
After I was on your podcast the first time, after he was on. And like that night was the first time we met in person. And we're musicians. Like, online is not where we're meant to be.
No.
It's as we're recording this on an online podcast.
And that's what I felt last night.
I did too. And that really felt like the vibe. Yeah. I only heard one. I don't know who was sitting behind us. If they recognize us, hopefully they probably won't say anything. But they were clearly with one, I think it was a band category, if I remember right. And when another band was announced as the winner, I heard one of the females in the group kind of yell, "You got to be fucking kidding me."
Oh.
That was the only negative thing I heard all night.
I think that was Ben Brandt's team was right behind us. But he won,
so that doesn't make any sense.
I know, yeah.
Then maybe it was a couple rows back. I don't know that it was directly behind us then.
Yeah, I don't think there was any.
Because that wouldn't make, and it wasn't in our category. Okay. It was earlier. It was in like the first, I think it was in the first.
You didn't hear like, fuck Colin Alvarez.
Yeah, fuck that guy. And, I just, I that was the vibe. Other than that one moment, that was just kind of like a weird sour note.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it was during the youth band,
right?
Which makes it even kind of grosser. Maybe it was a kid that said it though. Teenagers have emotions. They don't know and it's our job as because we're older now to help them with that. Of
I
like,
feel
hey
like
man,
I might have said it before when I was young.
Yeah.
And like my first year in.
Yeah.
I think I might have. I don't think I ever said some shit like that out loud.
Right. You definitely thought it though.
I probably thought it.
Well, I'll say like last night when I heard Ben get announced for our category. Obviously, I wanted to win. You always want, but I didn't even know his music, but I knew like reputation, like as a guitar player, and it was one of those like, yeah. And I honestly felt that way about everyone in the category.
Yeah,
I cheered
solid.
for Tate because I really wanted Tate to win. Like I said, I've heard his playing.
Right.
I think he's the most exciting in my genre in the area, like because he's young, which means he has a lot of room. And the stuff he's doing, the kid's just a fucking light. I can't believe I'm saying this like I'm 100. The kid can really play.
The kid's out there doing
You get out and check that young blood. I've been trying to file stuff in my Rolodex since last time we talked.
Yeah.
Because when you had the band on, that wasn't really an insightful podcast, I would say.
I thought it was great.
I mean, it was great. Everybody seems to have really enjoyed it.
I learned a lot about you.
Yeah.
In that episode.
That I'll wrestle a horse-sized duck.
You definitely will.
I'll fuck that duck up.
I don't think you would. I would love... I mean, a horse-sized duck is gigantic.
But dude, 100 duck-sized horses.
I would fucking stomp.
You would
100.
stomp 20 of them. I'll give you 50, which I feel like is
but even
really
if they're
optimistic.
Duck size and they kick me, right? If they kick me, it's not going to hurt.
Can
that
you
bad.
imagine being swarmed by 100 duck-sized horses?
As long as they don't.
They're not
bite.
coming at you one at a time. Like, this isn't a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
No, but
they're releasing a
just
herd.
river dance.
They're releasing a herd. I think you're overestimating your river dance capabilities.
I think it's. I've been practicing for this moment.
All right.
I really think I could do it.
All right.
One duck-sized horse would be a real problem.
But it'd be one problem.
But that one problem is huge.
Dude, we're just going to have to agree to disagree.
The web foot of a duck. I mean, they don't even have to be remotely accurate with their kicks.
Just imagine yourself.
It's so much foot.
Gleefully stomping duck-sized horses, and then you realize 60 of them have flanked you and are
they're not army horses.
But they're going to surround you. They're not coming at you one at a time, is all I'm saying. I think...
They didn't specify.
Okay, 100 of anything, I'm probably taking the single. But anyway.
It's so big.
It's sizable. Yeah.
Beak?
So
Beak?
we're talking like
Feet.
height. Head is at the same place. So it's not like shoulders are at a horse's shoulders and then you have like 8 feet of neck.
Does a duck have shoulders? Yeah, they have shoulders.
Yeah, they're just low because they have a long neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so much neck. And what did you say you would do? You double leg him.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're a wrestler.
Yeah, going hard.
I couldn't double leg a duck. I couldn't double leg a 14-year-old girl in my Brazilian jiu-jitsu class once.
Yeah, but that duck isn't wearing a gi, first of all. Point. So, yeah, I blow out the ACL, both ACLs on that duck. He's done. Like, what the fuck's he going to do? Wrap him up, rear naked choke, he's over. He's done. I'm having duck confit for dinner.
All right.
Welcome back, everybody.
I would have duck confit.
I see what you did.
Because I'd just be...
You'd be stomping them like the grape stomping lady.
Out of those horses.
Yeah, all right.
And I don't even know if I would want to fight him.
So it'd be horse confit at that point.
It would be, I think.
Yeah.
But if I had 100 horses, why did we have to fight? Oh, well, I guess that's part of the question.
Yeah, because if we're talking about like, no, I would befriend the horse-sized duck and I would ride him and I'd be fucking Genghis Khan.
That'd be
incredible. You kidding?
Yeah,
like,
you can take over the world if you're riding a duck.
Can you imagine rolling in and being like, hey, this is Francis, my fucking horse duck.
I love horse
People would be like, oh, shit. All right, so when you had Brandon on.
Oh, hot take. Colin's got a hot take.
And this, again, not even really. I'm kind of disappointed in how hot my takes have been. They've all been pretty reasonable. All right, let's take a hot take. Jazz musicians shouldn't be allowed to own property. There's a hot take.
Whoa.
No. Well, we needed a hot take. You needed something for the headline. So when you were talking to Brandon, you guys talked about the. I just want to stun you.
You blew my mind.
I got him.
I thought I was like, is that his hot take? Because I can't get behind this. I just blew the mind of CPMA award winning.
We're
gonna have to shut this down.
We're gonna have to. This really is my last
episode. I thought we were friends.
You son of a bitch! You sabotaged me. So when you had Brandon on, you guys were talking about the fan vote. And I remember, I felt like he blew you off a little bit on it, and I get why you didn't push it. And I was, as was everybody. Megan and I were talking about it the other day when I saw her somewhere. I think it might have been at Blue Sky Tavern. But like, kudos to you for towing the line between you weren't Joe Rogan interviewing Donald Trump, but you also weren't Frost versus Nixon.
That's true.
Like it was a good, because I feel like that's the two ends of that spectrum.
That's great. That's a great spread.
Like you weren't a cuck that like rolled over and let him tickle your belly button. Yeah. But it also wasn't like, I'm gonna make this motherfucker cry.
Yeah,
like it was a fine line, and it was obviously charged given like the history and the opinions you've had on the CPMAs. And I will say, and this is part of him being a CEO, is it was very politic, a lot of the stuff, even just the beginning of it. And I'll just say it because nobody else has said it yet since you interviewed him. Like first I want to thank you for having me on and giving me the time to explain myself like that. As a listener, I immediately was suspect of everything he said after that because it felt very prepped.
Well, he's a salesman.
Yeah. And it's a business politician.
Yeah.
Is what that is. And
I got that energy.
Which even I had no reason to disbelieve anything he was saying, but it made me suspect of it, which isn't how I think he wanted people to listen to what he had to say.
It didn't put you at ease.
Just a heads up for Brandon in the future. And who the fuck am I? Like, I didn't even win an award. Maybe if Dave says it, everybody will listen. Why don't we'll just let Dave?
Why don't you tell the president and exeexecutive director
of the organization that didn't give me an award last time?
Yeah, tell him how he should be doing this better.
His PR person should let him know he came across a little stiff and disingenuous.
Okay.
Which I don't think was his intention.
Because it was rehearsed.
It was rehearsed. Yeah. It didn't feel like a conversation as much as a debate of talking points.
Do you want to know why it was so rehearsed, I think?
Sure.
I think it was so rehearsed because everything that he goes on asks him the same questions.
That's fair. And this was probably the 10th podcast or radio show he's done. So
we got, and I went into it with the intention of learning more about his organization.
Sure.
Because at the beginning I went into it, I had to, in the most hippy dippy shit ever, I had to set my intention beforehand.
No, that's fair.
Because the provocateur in me,
right?
The
shock jock,
wanted to eviscerate them for every transgression I thought they ever committed.
Right.
And
real or perceived.
You got it.
Yeah. And that's not.
And that's where I started.
And you would have been mad at yourself afterwards.
Oh my God.
You would have hated it.
Well, I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
Because after I reviewed it, I'm like, okay, how often do your opinions change on things that you've experienced, Dave?
We were just recently talking about a very specific one.
Yes. So it's like I knew that would happen. So I was like, all right, what do you actually want to do?
Right.
And I was like, I want to ask him some questions that will explain to people who don't know what it is.
Yeah.
What it is.
Yeah.
And then I want to ask him some real questions that nobody else is asking him. He gets the softballs. He gets the explanatory questions. He doesn't get the why does the fan vote not mean anything?
Right. Yeah. Instead, it's like, who designs your trophies?
Yeah. Or how could you possibly have your committee analyze over 350 acts in 30 days?
Right. And how do you deal with obvious conflicts of interest?
Yes. Yeah.
And I'd be willing to bet if they're all part of the voting committee, they are terrified of voting for themselves.
Right.
Because, like, what if we win? Like, that's not a good look at all. So, but no, so the fan vote thing, it felt like he blew it off a little bit. And he told that, like, kind of story about one band having gotten 11,000 votes one year, but that didn't tie into anything. It wasn't like, so we took that into account or anything.
Right.
And then to me, when you asked him, like, well, don't you think it would be a cool thing to announce? Like, I think you said after, or maybe you said before. I don't remember which, but
I think after. Yeah.
I think after. Well, so I have a slightly different take on it, but like he blew that off of like, well, I don't really think anybody is going to feel better about themselves getting a runner-up award. Which that struck me enough that it stuck out in my brain because like they clearly don't give a shit about the fan vote if they would consider that a runner-up award.
Right.
Personally, for what I see the award ceremony, that would mean way more to me than what 80 people like behind a curtain voted for.
Right.
Like, and you don't have to do every category, but there is absolutely no reason when they're announcing the awards. I'll just use my category, and the fan vote or whatever they want to call it goes to such and such. The winner of the CPMA is. That's all it has to be. You don't have to bring them up. They don't have to give a speech.
It's just like the presidential election.
Yeah.
You have the electoral college vote.
Yeah.
And then you have the popular vote.
Yeah.
We know what both of those are. Sometimes they coincide.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't.
It would maybe add 10 minutes to the ceremony total. The fan vote doesn't have to get up and make a speech.
Right.
They don't have to get a trophy.
Right.
But
just the recognition.
Because that's all we're there for.
That the community thought that you were the best.
Let's be completely honest here. Most of us working musicians are most looking forward to being able to have on our EPK CPMA nominee and CPMA winner. Because it looks good. It's a feather in your cap.
Yes.
And there's no reason not to release that stuff. I can't imagine anyone would get that and go, oh, big deal, I still didn't win the trophy. Like, I can't imagine anyone thinking that.
No.
Like, all you would see is, how many categories were there? 90? Or no, how many? You looked it up.
326?
That was people.
No, I'm sorry,
people.
it's people.
Categories, it was like
90?
I thought it was just 100? Under 100, wasn't it?
Might have been 100?
Okay, so
I don't know.
All you're going to get from that is the next day, 100 people posting, thank you so much to our fans for getting us the fan vote.
Right.
Like that.
I just had and I don't know if this is going to make any difference. Do you think they're doing it because it might, would you, as the winner of the award, feel less than if it was just the judges that voted for you and not the actual public? So then do you feel like a shill?
There's two ways to look at it. Like, I know
this
lots.
Is complicated.
It is. And this isn't a reference to anyone here, but we've all known shitty bands that have a lot of fans.
Oh.
Yeah. We've all known horrible podcasts that somehow, beyond all recognition, get a bunch of downloads. But
once again,
but yeah, we all know those bands that just have a great following, and we don't like them,
right?
And I think being selected by what in theory is an educated listener, an educated might not be the right, an informed listener is probably a better way of wording that, is different than just knowing your fans have your back,
right?
And to me, somebody who's new to the scene could win the award if they came in with a splash,
right? But
somebody who's been around 20 years has the fan vote, but maybe they haven't put out new music that year.
Right.
Hit one of those metrics. Like, I just think they're two very different things. I didn't appreciate how he kind of blew it off in that, thinking it would be some sort of consolation prize for the people who won the fan vote.
Yeah.
I mean, only if they call it second place would it be and that's not what it is.
No.
That would be them announcing who got the second most votes in each category.
Runner-up. Yeah.
And I would be willing to bet a lot of the categories, it's probably the same group.
I think
would
it
get
is.
the fan vote.
Yeah.
Short of any of those anomalies, a new group that came in that just kind of made a big splash or whatever.
Right.
But I would be willing to bet at least half of those categories, the fan vote would also be the winner.
Oh yeah.
But why not announce it?
Right.
It's just I don't know.
Hashtag announce it 2025.
Hashtag announce it.
Yeah. So in closing, Colin.
Yes.
Let's give our top 3 takeaways from last night.
Sure. Do we want to snake draft it or go back and forth? Or?
Yeah, let's go back and forth.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with one of the highlights of my night last night was getting to talk to everybody and hang out with everybody and see everybody that was there and see people all dressed up when I usually see them in jeans and a t-shirt and
hoodie and sweatpants.
Yeah, everybody all dolled up. It was cool. It's not it's not a super common occurrence where I get dressed up to do anything.
Same.
So it's nice to do that every once in a while.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was I guess I enjoyed getting dressed up last night.
Getting
that
all
was
purdy up.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed seeing everybody and getting and everybody kind of that vibe that you said of the community last night.
All right. So we're doing top 3 each?
Yeah, and it could be good or bad.
So my first one, and this is selfish, but I was just happy to be there. Last year I took a spill and was laid up.
That's right.
Broken for the CPMAs. And our kids went in our stead for us. But yeah, I was just excited to be healthy and on site for it this year. So that's my first one.
That's a solid one.
Yeah.
My number 2 takeaway is fuck you again to the guy running the scanner program for the lights because that was incredible. Wow.
Yeah. I'm just going to make that my number 2 also because it needs reiterated of how intense.
That was incredible.
As people who stare into spotlights kind of for a living, it was heinous.
Yes.
It was like we made him mad.
Yeah.
I don't know if that guy, maybe he's Southern Baptist and hates music.
He's got it.
But
he was punishing us.
Fuck.
Yeah.
It was
I felt cleansed every time it went past.
Anyone who wasn't there, you need to understand it was every time an award winner was walking to stage.
Yeah, it was like a Men in Black light.
So it was every 3 to 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And imagine the lights at the bass drop of an EDM concert was what we were getting. It was, like Dave said, the scanners were
they were cranked.
Outdoor festival level.
Woo.
and set to whatever surface of the sun is.
Yes.
It was that temperature setting.
I got a refractory test while I was there.
I was getting ocular migraines from it. Like, no joke. Like, I kept having to, and you'd close your eyes and it didn't help. Like, I felt like a psycho because we're putting our fucking hands over our eyes.
Yeah.
But it was crazy. Kudos to Stephen Robert for wearing his sunglasses.
Oh, yes.
He wins.
He was the only one prepared.
Yeah, he wins.
Yeah.
Everybody else is like, why is this guy wearing his sunglasses? And that shit started with like, damn you.
Damn you.
Yeah. But that was my number 2 also.
Yeah, they should have sold those.
Yeah.
Or handed them out at the back.
He needs Hank the Buffalo sunglasses. That would have been the move. If he had them set up vending there in the front of like, you people are going to want these.
You know what would have been hilarious is if we would have walked into the back and the ushers back there would have been like, what row are you in?
Right.
Here's your sunglasses.
Here's your eclipse glasses. You're gonna want these. We were here for lighting rehearsal, and you're gonna want these.
Yeah. So number 3 for me, I guess, would be thank you to everyone who voted for me to get a CPM. It's super cool.
I don't know if you guys have seen it.
I've been busting on this damn thing the whole time, but it is super cool to just get kind of any recognition for all the hours that go into putting this show together.
Yeah, how many episodes did you do last year? 100 plus, right?
Yeah, it was like 100, and it was my first year doing it, and I get obsessed with stuff, so I
started
got crazy.
From zero, basically, right? I mean, you did radio for a while, but it's not like you had other podcasts.
I did radio because of the podcast.
Oh, it was after. Okay, I didn't know the timeline there.
Yeah.
So
and I quit doing radio because of the podcast.
Yeah, what trophy did radio get you?
Exactly.
Yeah. Take that, radio.
Radio would have just given me a below average pay.
Alcoholism. Sleep. What do they call it? Shift disorder.
Yeah. A bunch of key lanyards.
Right.
I mean, those are solid.
Lanyards are pretty cool.
I guess.
Yeah. But kudos to Dave Gates. Like, I'm going to keep giving him shit for this trophy, but we would expect no less.
Well, I expect you to be learning how to play trumpet for whenever I walk into rooms now.
Yeah, like a heralding trumpet, like the long with a flag hanging from it.
Make people
the
kneel.
flag will just be the Solo Musician Podcast logo.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone will bend the knee.
It'll be incredible.
Yeah, he's going to be a good despot.
Yes.
So yeah, my third, it's cool being a part of the music scene. I've only lived here since 2019, and I've really only been in the scene since 2022. And really this scene since last year. Yeah. I mean, that show with you and Matt at Hook and Flask was like my first. So that wasn't even a year.
No.
And it's really cool, like, to be welcomed into it. And it feels, I was telling Chelsea last night, it like feels a little less homesick.
Yeah.
Being a part of it. So yeah, it's cool. Even though I didn't win because it was rigged. But sorry, I had to get one last one. Just kidding, Ben. You're very much deserving. But
that's awesome.
No, it was cool. Second year being nominated. We didn't campaign at all, which isn't like a flex. I just don't know who thought we were worthy of nominating us, but that was really cool. And saw that we were blues rock, even though many shows we've done strayed away from what the band kind of was formed as. The nomination last year is kind of what started the journey to getting back to what we should be doing. And it shows musically. Like, I think what we're doing now is so much more genuine, and
you guys are fucking incredible.
Dude, it's so much fun.
I mean, I tell people, and then I show people your videos from here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's a 3-piece group that sounds like a 7-piece group. You guys just
That's
rip
the goal. It's so much fun.
It's so good.
Which the first music video from that will be out hopefully this weekend for Whipping Post.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for the licensing to clear through DistroKid.
Dude, that's awesome.
Hopefully the next week or so. They have to license, obviously, with Allman Brothers, but the video's done. I just don't want to release it until the song can come out, so they'll be out at the same time. But
wow,
live from Tenor Studios.
That's incredible.
But yeah, no, it's I was in the Atlanta music scene for 2019 to 20 years. I mean, it was 1999 to 2019, and it was family. You're in anything for that long. Like, there's Chelsea was talking last night about Frankie Lee, which I don't think he's watching this because why would he? But
right, shout out Frankie Lee.
He don't understand what a big deal Dave Gates is. But like,
award winner
Frankie Lee knew me from I was 15, going out to one of his open mics. And down there they're jams. Like full band
like
open mics.
Jams. Yeah.
And Frankie's 6'8". He's a giant. Plays at 335. And I remember at 14 or 15 him letting me play his guitar because I didn't know what a jam was. Like, I didn't know what an open mic was, and putting his guitar on and looking like a little kid, like wearing his dad's like suit jacket. But I still talk to him. now 25, 26 years later. And,
yeah, it's family now.
Yeah, and there's so many people that I have that with, and it's starting to happen here. Like you and Matt, are the most obvious, where like even non-musical stuff, like how much stupid nonsense, do we all send each other? And
I love it.
Yeah, it's great. And that's what a music scene's built on. Like it shouldn't be clicks. It shouldn't be who slighted who didn't acknowledge someone, who, didn't pay the certain respect that's due. That's not how a community's built. That's cliquey high school bullshit. Like,
yeah, you're not progressing the scene by doing that.
It's toxic, self-serving vanity is all that is. And it's usually misplaced. It's rarely from somebody who deserves to be vain.
Right.
And nothing will destroy a good scene. I've seen it happen time and time again in Atlanta, because it's cyclical. Scenes will get great, and then they get not so great, and then eventually the wheat gets separated from the chaff, and those people and those personalities tend to kind of weed themselves out of a scene. But you see it happen. You see clicks form, and you see the negativity start to creep in, and I hope it doesn't happen here. Like I really do, because this right now, our little scene is in a golden age. It feels like
beautiful.
It's amazing. Like everybody's so great. Like I have yet to really meet anybody, at least that I'm going to say publicly, that I get like a really and I hope they feel the same way. Like I hope everybody's not listening to this and be like, wow, he read the fucking room wrong. We all hate him. So, and that's that imposter syndrome kicking in.
Right. Yeah.
But no, like it's always such a great vibe when you see people. It's you've talked about it a million times on here, of like when other musicians come out to your show, they choose to use their night off, to come hear you and hang out. Like there's no bigger compliment on the planet than time.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, somebody who's busy giving their time to you is such a gift.
That's what I said in my speech last night.
Yeah.
Was time, and I stole that. Sorry, I stole that from Leo DeSanto.
Yeah,
because he said it on the podcast.
Yeah,
he's like, time is like the most valuable resource right now.
Yeah,
so that's
when you give it to another musician. Recreationally, you're not going out and playing with them. You're just going out to support them. Like that's huge.
Right.
And shout out to the Rachels and the Stevens of the world that are always out.
Always out.
Always. Yeah. Every night. Like that is a young person's game.
That is. I'll tell you what it is, they're moving around and they're mingling in the scene is their genuine love of live music.
Which is awesome. It's so nice.
It's great. It's great to watch.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think I'm not doing enough because I have the podcast, which is cool, and I talk to local musicians, and I hope that that's making some kind of difference.
Of course it is. Yeah, but it's a foundation of the scene, man. Everybody talks about it. Like that's why I try to get on as often as possible. For self-serving vanity, obviously.
I think I think one of the goals I have for 2025, like I had a moment at the end of the awards, whenever we were, right after I'd gotten mine, I went out.
Dave won a CPMA.
Corey,
everybody.
Corey Rosen from The Story was out there, and
with
we did
pretzel
like
sticks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, this was before that.
Oh, okay.
We slipped off to the side and did like a 1 minute video, right? Yeah. And he's like, "What are you most excited for 2025?" And I'm like, "Writing music with Colin, and writing music with In a Vibe."
Yeah.
I was like, nothing about the podcast. I'm like, I guess I should say that I'm really excited to do, but the podcast to me has turned into a thing where it's a voice for people that you wouldn't normally have a long form discussion with.
Sure. Yeah.
Because most musicians are kind of just passing.
Yeah.
They're passing in the night.
Yep.
They're passing through towns. So if you develop a relationship with a musician, which everybody that comes to see us does.
Yeah.
And if you develop that relationship and you want more than the 3 minutes or 5 minutes you get to talk with them at the shows, this gives people a platform to be able to listen to those musicians and actually understand who they are.
Sure. Yeah.
Like the amount of people that come up to me now that are like, they'll just automatically, they know everything about me. And I'm just like, oh, you listen to the podcast? Because I'm like, how the hell? I don't know you.
I get it just from the episodes I've done with you.
Yeah.
It happened last night. 5 or 6 people I don't know. Of like,
yeah,
I love
Colin.
when you're on, it's Colin. When you're on Dave's podcast, I'm like, yeah, that's me. Like,
so I would just
not what you looked like, or not what you thought I'd look like.
Yeah, right. I want to make more of that happen.
Yeah.
So that's my goal with the podcast for 2025. We'll get people in studio, get more people, like introduce more musicians to more musicians.
Totally.
There's so many in this area.
Well, yeah, and I think your answer to Corey was perfect because you're excited about the creative.
Oh my God,
of it, like that. Yeah. That is the mark of a healthy scene. Is when you see everyone being creative. and everyone coming out to open mics of like, I'd love to play this new song for you guys that I wrote.
Yeah.
You know, and I've got this new one I'm working on if you don't mind. Like, if you play covers, that's fine. Like, I'm not digging on that in any way, but like that creative is what does it. Or you hear, you know, guys that are just starting out of like, hey, I want to stretch my legs a little bit and try this one, you know, cover or original.
Right.
You know, like, I don't know how it's going to go, but they feel supported enough to be able to do that.
There's a certain amount of that feels like it shifts the scene from a live music consuming scene to a live music providing or live music giving scene.
Yeah. And
where there's a net positive to the scene.
And that's like the sign that Matt has fostered a good open mic at Blue Sky.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Is that because so many open mics, none that I've been to here, but I haven't done that many, are competitive.
Right.
You know, you're like, I need to bring my best stuff because I need to show them what I can do. That's not the vibe there.
No.
Like it's very inclusive and very, I felt
Uplifting.
comfortable doing these new tunes that aren't even really written yet.
Yeah.
I'm just like, hey, I'd love for you guys to hear this stuff.
Right.
If anybody has any input, I would love to hear that input. Like, I think that stuff, like these songwriter sessions are all signs of a healthy scene. And I think that's, the CPMAs are part of it, you know, for better or worse, what anybody thinks about them. But
I think it unites more than it divides.
It does. And I think having sour grapes about it, you're missing the point.
Right.
You know, the people that you were talking about, like bitching about, and we had it last year. We didn't really have it this year, but as soon as we got nominated, people kind of came out of the woodworks.
Yes.
I would see them at like the guitar store of like, oh, heard you got nominated. I'll never buy a ticket to that again. And it comes down to because their band was nominated and didn't win.
Sure.
I'm like, okay, but did you spend the whole time being a competitive douche?
Right.
Where it's like, I'm not going to talk to anybody. Like, you were just waiting for the announcement. So when it didn't come, that's when you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Yeah.
You know, because that's all you were waiting for was that announcement. And that's, you're missing the point. You know, that's I don't know. Yeah, it's hopefully those guys have their own scene. In York. I'll stay down in York.
You stay in York.
Stay in York.
Damn Yorkians. That's a hot take.
I take that back. I know Tate's in York, and I've been talking him up the whole episode. So.
Well, on that note, Colin definitely feels that way, by the way. He's told me that.
100%, it's real.
Yeah, he hates all Yorkians. Colin, tell everybody how to find you on all the things.
ColinAlvarez.com. All the socials are Colin Alvarez Music. I'm still trying to get the band and the music page. Meta, I applied for it 2 months ago, so you'll find a Colin Alvarez Music that has my AI logo and like 100 followers. Lovely. And then the one that has like 6,000 followers.
Yes.
You can guess which one's the main page.
Yeah.
Someday they'll combine the two. I don't know when that's going to happen, but yeah, we're on all the things. We're trying to get TikTok going.
Sweet.
Trying to get the OnlyFans up and running.
Yes.
We actually had a meeting about it the other week to start talking about content for that.
Very nice.
But yeah, ColinAlvarez.com is the easiest, or on Facebook. We're old, so we post everything on Facebook.
Yeah. And if anybody wants to reach out to you for guitar lessons, because Colin is my guitar instructor.
Also true. Conflict of interest.
Just send you an email?
Yeah. Just ColinAlvarez.music or reach out through Facebook. And I don't have a separate, it's in the infancy, working on some stuff for it. But
sweet.
Yeah, it doesn't have its own Facebook or website or anything yet. Sweet. Albacore Productions.
Albacore Productions sounds great.
But yeah, it's
all right.
Making music this year.
Hell yeah, man.
New originals coming very soon.
I love it.
We might even get Dave on one or two.
Oh, shit. Watch out now.
I mean, now that he's award winning,
I was about to
we need the resume.
I was about to say, can I bring my award to the studio?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, we just want to film it for the video. We don't want you to perform in any way. If you could just pantomime in front of a microphone holding it
in front of my face.
Oh,
do you believe?
Go TA style. Just cover one eye.
All right, man. Thanks for doing the podcast, dude. Appreciate it.
Always fun.
Everybody else, I'll see you next week for an interview with Andy Gessner from Hip Video Promo.
Oh, shit. Nailed it.
All right. See you guys.
Thank you for tuning in today. Your support keeps the music flowing. Every note and what I play means the world just to hear you know it. I'll see you next time. Don't stray by. Your love is our shining star. Keep the harmony.